As you can see, we have chilling scares. 5 disturbing crimes caught on Google Street View. Is this a Carmen Winstead? Hi, my name is Carmen Winstead type shit. Is this what he's talking about? You
In
see
October
the picture and you're
2024,
cursed. Is that what he's mean? Is that what he means?
car captured what looked like the aftermath of a horrific crime in the small
Let me
span.
quit yapping real quick. I moved my ring light up top, and that shadow be scaring me when I be watching this scary shit. So
Town of Tahueco. It
Also,
captured a man loading a large white bag
just
into the
Jakai,
trunk of
you
his
feel
car.
me? Twitch,
Now, this
catch me.
easily could have had an innocent
Catch me.
explanation.
I can't hear.
However, many noted that the bag's shape looked a lot like a human body. And unfortunately, that is exactly what it turned out to be. The bag contained the remains of a 32-year-old Cuban man named Jorge Luis Perez.
Damn.
He had gone missing in November 2023 after sending a message to his family saying he was leaving Soria, the place he had lived, with a girl he had met, and that he would no longer be using
His voice sound
that
different.
phone. One of his cousins found this highly suspicious and reported his disappearance to the police. However, despite the investigators' best efforts, they were unable to find any clues that could help them find Jorge. There were no witnesses
same
or any
picture?
surveillance to find any clues that could help them find Jorge. There were no
What is that,
witnesses
cheating?
or any surveillance footage that could point them in the right direction. So the case went cold for months. Or at least until one of the investigators came across the Google Street View images in November 2024. Coincidentally, the Street View car had also captured the same man carrying the white plastic bag in a wheelbarrow on the way to his car.
I was finna say, this nigga is carrying a body like this on his side. Who is this nigga? This nigga strong as shit. He in a wheelbarrow and nobody in these apartments seen him. Where they at? Mexico? That shit was saying por favor hasuevo. I don't know what that shit was saying. Are they in Mexico?
Images
Is that where
proved
it
to be
is?
the final piece in solving the
I wasn't
mystery of
listening. My
Jorge's
fault.
disappearance.
Overreacted.
They were able to narrow down the list of potential suspects by tracing the vehicle back to its owner, a 48-year-old Tahueco resident named Manuel Isla Gallardo, who
Yeah, I
worked
was
at the
right.
town hall in the neighboring town.
Yeah, I was right.
However, Manuel had no prior history of violence or any other illegal activity, making it
Niggas know
difficult
I'm
for the
right.
authorities to arrest him without any solid evidence.
baldy.
But after tapping his phone and trailing him for a couple of weeks, the investigators uncovered the connection they were looking for. He was in a relationship with Jorge's partner, and as later investigation would reveal, Manuel and this partner kidnapped and later killed Jorge because of this love triangle. They likely would have gotten away with her kidnapped and later killed Jorge because
That's
later they were
Jorge.
looking for. Tapping his phone and trailing him for a couple of weeks, the investigators uncovered the connection they were looking for. He was in a relationship with Jorge's partner, and as later
cheating bitch. Ugh. Yo, rest in peace, Jorge. Jorge. I can't play around with that dead name. That's low key fucked. Rest in peace, Jorge. Is this nigga wearing a wig? He's bald in every other picture. Is he wearing a wig? And why does he have hoop earrings in? We got ourselves a femboy.
investigation would reveal, Manuel and this partner kidnapped
She like
and later
femboys.
killed Jorge
She was
because of
tired
this
of
love
that
triangle.
nigga dick.
They likely would have gotten
She
away with it
got
as well,
tired
if
of
not for
that
the Street View
nigga dick.
images, a discovery that was nothing short
they
of
keep
a
showing his
miracle.
ass, bro?
You see, the town of Tahueco has fewer
What's
than
he
50
saying?
residents, so there were no eyewitnesses to Manuel putting Jorge in his car. Additionally, the Google Street View car just so happened to be driving through Tahueco for the first time in 15 years. Both Manuel and his partner were arrested on November 11th after investigators found more evidence linking them to Jorge's disappearance in their home. Their arrest also led to the discovery of Jorge's remains in a cemetery about 15 minutes from where the Google Street View images were captured, finally bringing closure to his tragic case. In December 2018, the Brisbane Police Department in Australia received a missing person report regarding 46-year-old Priscilla Bruton. She was an American beauty queen who moved to Australia with her daughter back in 2013 to start a new life. Things were going well for Priscilla. However, during the latter half of 2018, she stopped posting on social media and completely cut off communication.
Didn't they just say she was an American beauty queen? Like she was famous? Why she only got 2 Facebook friends? No way.
vacation with their friends and family back in the US.
You know what, bitch,
After
I only got
months
2
of
Facebook
silence,
friends.
one of her
She's
friends contacted the police, sparking an investigation into her disappearance.
I don't know what an American Beauty
But she
Queen
was
is, so I
nowhere
don't
to be
know.
found. She was last seen at the house of her boyfriend, Mark Waden, who she met during a Zumba class in 2017. However, when questioned, Mark claimed that they had actually broken up back in June 2018. However,
Notice his stance.
when questioned, Mark claimed that they had actually
Notice his stance. What do they got in common? They're both fucking sassy.
broken
Why
up a
is they
class in
standing like that?
2017.
And he's recording. He's holding the camera. Watching them dance,
However,
bro.
when
Staying
questioned,
normal.
Mark claimed that they had
Get
actually
out.
broken up back in June 2018. He also suggested that she
Mad
went missing
fucking
on
sucks.
purpose to avoid immigration, since she was apparently overstaying her visa by that point. But this wasn't enough to convince the investigators of his innocence, as they also found Priscilla's car just 11 miles
was
from his home. With no
not
other
a
leads, police
citizen?
began to consider
What?
the possibility of a potential homicide. And that's where they made
I'm
a
not
grim
understanding,
discovery.
bro. Somebody outside is cutting your ass right now and weed eating and blowing leaf and shit. Live in a neighborhood, they say. Oh my god, live in a gated community, they say. Oh my god.
Priscilla was, without a doubt, dead.
I'd rather be back.
Even more shockingly, she was buried in Mark's front yard. Cadaver dogs helped
What?
pinpoint her exact shot grimly speaks, as they also found Priscilla's car just 11 miles from his home. With no other leads, police began to consider the possibility of a potential homicide.
Yo,
And
my fault if
that's
y'all
where they
hearing
made
the
a
mic
grim
too.
discovery.
I don't got my headphones.
Priscilla was, without a doubt, dead. Even more shockingly, she was buried in Mark's front yard. Cadaver dogs helped pinpoint her exact burial location near the home's entrance, prompting an excavation to recover her remains on June 8, 2019. However, while the investigators did find some evidence from the dig site, most of the body was completely missing, which didn't seem to make any sense. As it turned out, Mark caught wind of the upcoming excavation in May, hired a construction crew to dig up the area with Priscilla's remains, and transported it to an unknown location with a trailer. What he didn't know, however, was
Wait, so they didn't know that they were digging up a body? So he buried the trash can, and that's what they dug up? Hold up, I'm not. Yeah, my shit looking a whole lot better now. I'm gonna let my shit grow out, you feel me? No more trash barbers. He fucked me up.
that his crime had been captured on camera long before the investigation ever began. In August 2018, a Google Street View car mapped the Bracken Ridge area around Mark's home, and as it passed in front of his
Damn.
property, it
It's
captured
crazy.
what appears to be the
seen one of the Google cars. I've seen the Apple Maps. I've seen the Apple Maps shit. I've never seen the Google car.
very grave he dug for Priscilla, right where she was eventually buried.
My
It
shit,
even
our
showed
shit
the
ain't even been updated, my nigga. We still have a picture from I think 2013 in my neighborhood. Yo, them niggas don't be coming to Kentucky. I guess these niggas don't care. Y'all hear how I say Kentucky? That shit trash, bro. That shit's so trash.
trailer he would later use to hide the evidence.
Holy.
This, combined with testimonies from neighbors who saw him digging in the yard at unusual hours, made it impossible for him to play dumb and get away with his crime. He was finally arrested on the 13th of June
This
and is
nigga
currently
got
awaiting
swaggy to
sentencing
get
while
arrested.
under house arrest.
Hell no.
Sometime in 2018,
Priscilla.
Google updated the street view in the Ecatepec de Morelos municipality in Mexico. Among the many new snapshots were the pictures of this rather unassuming empty lot with bags of trash scattered around the overgrown plants. However, those trash bags concealed a horror beyond what anyone in that neighborhood could have imagined. The truth came to light when the local police investigated a string of disappearances in the area and noticed a
didn't
few
smell it?
similarities. All of the missing individuals were women, they were all young, and most importantly, they had all received calls and messages from the same woman before their disappearance, 28-year-old Patricia Martinez. She lived in a house just 100 meters away from that empty lot with her 33-year-old husband, Juan Carlos Hernandez, and their 4 children.
Ooh.
The two made a living by selling clothes, food, jewelry, anything they could right outside.
Oh my gosh. Yo. For every bad Mexican mommy, there's a good 15 tortas. So it's like a 1 in 15. How many people are in Mexico? Add that up.
In their home. On the surface, they appeared to be a perfectly normal couple, but despite their seemingly ordinary lives, authorities kept an eye on them for weeks, suspecting that there was much more going on behind closed doors. Then, on the 4th of October, investigators saw the two walking outside with a stroller. They suspected the stroller was carrying the 2-month-old daughter of a missing woman who had vanished together with her mother a month prior. Hoping to prevent any harm to the baby, the investigators moved in and apprehended both Patricia and Juan. However, when they inspected the stroller, its contents left them in disbelief. Instead of a live child, it contained the dismembered remains of a woman. The couple was headed to the empty lot near their home to dispose of the evidence of their horrific crime. But this was only the tip of...
Then you're gonna turn around and put a real fucking baby in that bitch. Now you're a fucking
the iceberg.
sicko.
As the cops searched their home, they discovered dozens of dismembered human remains stored in their fridge, wrapped in plastic bags, and some encased in cement. The cement bags in their home also matched the ones that were scattered throughout the empty lot seen on Google Street View. Soon after their arrest, Juan admitted to everything and revealed the true extent of their gruesome crimes.
What a pussy. Yo, you did it. Stand on it. Don't just flat out snitch on yourself. Don't be no fucking... Yeah, I killed them all. I killed them all, sir. Please, let me get a plea deal. Let me plead insanity. My nigga, you just murdered these women, cold blood, and pushed them in a baby stroller and wrapped them in cement. Chopped them up in pieces. My nigga, you are insane. Mexico got death penalty. Firing squad. What's that shit called when you riding on the horse and you a lasso? They got lasso, dragged by bull. Yo, what the fuck am I talking about, bro?
According to his statements, the two had killed almost 28 women since 2012, including their neighbor's 13-year-old daughter. They would lure poor, vulnerable women with the promise of cheap or free clothes and high-paying employment before ending their lives in the most unspeakable ways and discarding their remains in plastic bags or cement. And if that wasn't bad enough...
What did they do? I'm understanding they're chopping them up, but bro, what are they doing? What goes through these people's minds to just be like, yeah, I'm about to murder this motherfucker? Wire snapping their head. Yo, can people in public just not tell when a crazy person is walking about? My nigga, bro. It be the most noticeable shit when it's a crazy person. You walk down the street. You driving. You see somebody walking down the street. Oh yeah, oh that's easily a fucking meth head right there. You just say that. You just be like, that motherfucker's cracked out. Even if they're homeless, bro, you can just drive past. It'd be a normal homeless person. You see a homeless person methed out. You understand, my nigga? They're crazy, bro. If you see that as a cop, why is that not a thing where you can just arrest them, bro? Get these niggas off the street, even if they're homeless. You know. Put them in prison, bro. Put them in their own type of prison. Alcatraz Island. Woo! Yeah, Alcatraz Island. Send them there. Fight for their lives. Last homeless person there. Last crazy person, insane person, schizophrenic person alive. You put them in a corner. You bring some more. The survivor out of that group, strongest one, you put them in another corner. You get 4 survivors out of all of them. So it's about 2 million people. Psychopaths. 4 survivors. The craziest motherfuckers. They fight it out. No more crazy people. No more crazy people ever again. You get what I'm saying?
Patricia also admitted to cooking and cannibalizing parts of their victims, as well as feeding them to their dogs.
You see what I'm saying?
However, the most shocking part of it all was Juan's complete lack of remorse, with him boldly declaring his hatred of women and vowing to do the same again if he was ever given the chance.
I'm telling you, bro. I don't think he would be one of the 4 survivors. He's just not built for it. Look at him. He bad built. Little kid body, big ass head. While I'm still on, having fun while
The only silver lining in this entire case is that the baby was unharmed. They had actually sold it to another couple for 15,000 pesos, or about $770. These buyers were later arrested and the baby was rescued safely. As for Juan and Patricia, they were sentenced to nearly 350 years behind bars, where they remain to this day.
What the fuck be going on over there?
If you go to this location in Barron, Wisconsin on Google Street View, you will see cop cars and police tape surrounding this residence. On October 16, 2018, this Street View car captured the aftermath of one of the most monstrous crimes in Wisconsin's recent history. It happened a day earlier when the 21-year-old Jake Thomas Patterson knocked on the Kloss residence at around 12:50 a.m. and claimed to be a cop.
That's what a Wisconsin 21-year-old looked like? Nigga, I'm 21. That nigga look like a fucking... like a pedo.
James Kloss came to the door and demanded to see Jake's badge before opening the door.
Let me go back.
In a fit of rage, Jake raised the shotgun
Hold up, this nigga talking crazy.
This
He's
12:50
talking about raising shotgun.
October 16th, 2018, this Street View car captured the aftermath of one of the most monstrous crimes in Wisconsin's recent history. It happened a day earlier when the 21-year-old Jake Thomas Patterson knocked on the Kloss residence at around 12:50 a.m. and claimed to be a cop. James Kloss came to the door and demanded to see Jake's badge before opening the door. In a fit of rage, Jake raised the shotgun he'd brought with him and shot James through the door. He then fired another shot to break the lock and enter the house. Meanwhile, Denise Kloss locked herself and her 13-year-old daughter Jamie in the bathroom and made this disturbing 911 call.
County 911, where is your husband? Somebody else is my son. Hello?
Call.
What happened then?
County 911, where is your husband? Somebody else is my son. Hello?
What is that? Bro, I don't like hearing shit like this, bro. This shit freaky. If they died, bro, if they may die, bro. Bro, I'm about to mute this shit. I don't like hearing dead people's voice, bro.
Officers rushed to the scene,
sad,
but unfortunately it was already too late. Not long after the 911 call, Jake shot down the bathroom door as well and opened fire on Denise. By the time the officers arrived,
Bro, they didn't have time, bro. Damn, imagine, bro. That shit had to be like crazy thinking, bro. Bathrooms should have windows big enough for a person to get out of. I don't know why a lot of bathrooms. I mean, I get it. Yeah. Nah, scratch that. Freakazoids, they break in through your bathroom. Never mind. Let's continue.
Both James and Denise were already dead.
Rest in peace.
However, the more urgent concern was Jamie, who was nowhere to be found. It didn't take long for officers to realize that Jamie had been taken by Jake. In fact, one of the responding officers had unknowingly passed Jake's fleeing car while rushing to the Kloss residence. As later investigation would reveal, Jake had developed a sick infatuation with Jamie after seeing her get off her school bus, and kidnapping her was his primary motive that night. He took her to his cabin about 80 miles away from her home and locked her in one of the rooms. And while the investigators started searching for Jamie almost immediately, they had nothing that could lead them in her direction. The FBI even put out a nationwide missing person report and offered a $25,000.
Bro, it's like when you see the missing people on like posters and shit, nigga, how are you really supposed to find them? Bro, you pass so many people a fucking day. How are you supposed to just be like, boom? I don't think that, like, if I seen somebody who's missing, I don't think I could recognize them. Because it's just like, you see so many faces every day. One face is not going to stick out. Because then if you're looking for one face, you're going to start seeing shit that makes you think you're seeing it. Like, bro, I don't...
Warrant for any information that could lead to Jamie's rescue.
Unfortunately,
Unfortunately, none of this led to anything substantial, and the hope of finding her alive kept declining with each passing day. But then, on January 10th, 2019, the Wisconsin Police Department received a call they never expected.
Douglas County 911.
Hi, I have a young lady at my house right now, and she says her name is Jamie Kloss.
As it turned out, Jamie escaped Jake's cabin 88 days after her disappearance and asked for help from one of his elderly neighbors.
88
How did she
days.
come up upon your tab?
I was walking my dog, and we were almost home, and she was walking towards me, crying, saying, "You gotta help me, you gotta help me."
She pulled off this remarkable escape by carefully studying Jake's routine for weeks, tracking when he left and how long he was gone, waiting patiently until the perfect opportunity revealed itself. After getting in contact with the police, she told them everything she knew about her kidnapper, resulting in Jake getting identified and arrested following a traffic stop. Jake stood trial
That nigga got fat as shit. You a fucking freakazoid, nigga.
on May 24, 2019. He pleaded guilty to all charges and was given 2 life sentences without the possibility of parole, plus 40 additional years in prison.
Bro, if he just got 50 years plus 40, that's 2 life sentences, ain't it, maximum? So he got, what, 90 years? My nigga, why not just kill him? Why put him in prison? He's not gonna learn nothing. He's not getting out. No parole, no nothing. Just, why not just off him? You know what I'm saying? He doesn't... Why is this not a thing? I mean, bro, I can't say that because it's like... Yo, there's so many certain, bro. Holy... It's like, if you know 100% he did the shit, no circumstances where he can be innocent, no anything. Yo, and he's not getting out per what the judge rules. Kill me, bro. I'm not trying to live in prison. But that's kind of what they would want, though, ain't that? Damn, bro. You'd have to rot in prison. I'm not gonna lie. You'd have to rot.
In February 2011, a Google Street View car captured what looked like an abduction in progress in Sao Paulo, Brazil. It shows a burly man saying something to a woman while she's trying to get away, while a car with an open trunk is parked nearby. The next slide shows the man restraining the woman, while we can also see another man strangely sitting in the car's trunk. And the next slide provides a clear view of the scene, showing the man in the white shirt seemingly trying to force the woman while she bites his hand in what looks like an attempt to break free. However, the final slide is even more unsettling as it shows the parked car driving away with neither the woman nor the man in the white shirt visible anywhere. Unfortunately, despite the alarming circumstances shown in these snapshots, I couldn't find any additional information about the alleged kidnapping. No news articles, missing person reports, or criminal investigation records. It's almost as if the crime never happened, which, given the situation, isn't entirely out of the realm of possibility. There's a good chance that this disturbing scene has a perfectly innocent explanation. Maybe the white shirt man and the woman know each other, and instead of an attempted abduction, he's simply trying to tickle her. This would explain why he has a cheerful, almost smug grin in one of the snapshots, and why she's holding onto her cigarette while trying to free herself from a presumably dangerous situation. But even with all that in mind, the possibility that this was a real crime that just flew under the authorities' radar... I don't know,
because them Google pictures, them niggas take pictures every like 50 seconds, ain't it? It's ksh. Yeah, the niggas cruising down the street 2 miles an hour. Ksh. Like, I don't know. It could be them niggas just know each other. He said, hey, baby, let's go get in this car real quick. My wife's inside. She's like, no, stop it. She starts sucking this nigga thumb, bending over. Freaky shit. Right in public, right in front of the Google camera. They said, you know what, we only live once. You know, we older now. I know that pussy might not stay wet forever. And he threw his ball. And he shot that shit and he switched. Now he's got her. They got in that Volkswagen van and they shaboing boinging and he's finna drop her back off.
Is also just as possible. The lack of reports and news articles doesn't necessarily mean nothing happened. It could just as easily point to a bigger systemic issue with bribery, corruption, and cover-ups that allow serious crimes to stay hidden in plain sight. Curiously, Google has since removed the most ominous snapshot from Street View.
That wasn't a Volkswagen van they hopped in? Damn. It was whatever. Bro, why'd he show the Volkswagen van then? Bro, come on.
For some unknown reason. Unfortunately, it's been over 14 years since these images were captured, and without any new evidence or leads, this case likely will forever remain a mystery.
Niggas was wearing ripped jeans back in? Old niggas was wearing ripped jeans back in? Phew. Stick to your slacks. I don't know what to tell you. You a little bit too old to be wearing ripped jeans. I'm not trying to say you gotta be a certain age to rock some shit. But you should dress your age. You know what I'm saying? No YRG. Head ass. Subscribe, I guess you can like the video. I would prefer you to like the video. I prefer you to really subscribe, though. And I prefer you to really go follow me on Twitch. And just check out. If I've entertained you for these 25 minutes. Holy. Let me go ahead and wrap this up. Yeah, like, comment, subscribe, do your thing. Follow me on Twitch. And yeah,